Hey guys, well, it's a horrible day. We've all heard Bernie has suspended his campaign. That hurts. It does. What really hurts is that no one can convince me or many other people that actually follow data and numbers and understand energy of elections that you can't convince me that someone that was able to put together confirmed the largest grassroots freaking running for president in the nation's history. I've been tracking presidential elections ever since the Clintons, and nobody did more energy than Bernie. He dwarfed every record there was. Total raised, from how many people, from how many individual donations, 30 million plus phone calls, and this was before even Super Tuesday. 15 million door knocks, again before Super Tuesday. And you lose 20, 25, 30,000 people crowds, packing stadiums, just like the president does. But he's, remember again, the president. Any president should be able to put 10 to 15,000 people in a stadium at any moment, at any time. If he can't, there's something wrong. But Bernie was doing it as a candidate. Then he wins all three of the first states. Yes, I remember Iowa, the Shadow app. He won all first three states, you know that. And nobody's never won the first two and gone on to lose the nomination. But then he wins the first three in Nevada, a crushing victory. And then it all evaporates. Then you get the fact that in African American communities, the $10.5 million that they contributed to whomever candidate, Bernie got the largest piece of that pie, about $6.3 million worth of it. But then they don't vote for him. Then all the polls, I'm a poll tracker, every poll started shifting his way 2 months before Super Tuesday, including the African American support. But then James Clyburn just pops up, opens up his, and it all just shifts. All on James Clyburn. Well, that's impressive. I mean, hot diggity dog, that's impressive. But then, unfortunately, we're dealing with a pandemic on top of all that. So yeah, campaigning stopped. It stopped for everyone, across the board. But Joe Biden would never have to worry about that, because he never had a campaign. So what happened? Well, the DNC, the RNC, and the mainstream media colluded again, just like they did in 2016. But please remember, all three of those pathetic groups of people, they're not real leaders. No, they're followers. The people that run them are the people that own the networks. They're the very same people that own the means of production. The very same people that own the sports teams. The very same people that own the pharmaceuticals. The very same people that own the prison industrial complex and the military industrial complex. Those owners are the ones who own our elected officials. And they do it through campaign finance, legalized bribery. That's the only thing that happened in 2020. The same thing happened in 2016. It hurts. As a veteran, as someone who cares about this nation's security, democracy, standard of living, generally everything that has to do with America. I care about around the world too, but I really focus in on America. And right now it's not a very good day for democracy. It just isn't. And we had a capstone of that example last night. Now the mainstream media and crazy man Joe Biden says, oh, I don't believe they should have voted. And all the other talking heads, oh, it's horrible what the Republican Supreme Court did in Wisconsin. I agree with you. It is. But how about the primary that was taken last week in Florida, and they're a brand new hotspot now, as I predicted they would be. Go back and read my Facebook walls. Future headline, Florida's going to outpace New York because of their lack of inability. The governor's impotency of leadership, to which he gets his impotency from Donald Trump's impotence. But back to Wisconsin. Yeah, in the midst of a pandemic, They say, screw you. They couldn't even extend mail-in voting. And then the kick of it all, they're not even going to count the votes for another 2 weeks. They're not even going to count until in April. Well, further in April. So you just had to put these people, watch the headlines. I guarantee there will be larger corona clusters in Wisconsin because of this. That's how disgusting it is. See, that's stealing democracy in plain sight. And that's the best way to always hide something. In plain sight. But what they did in Wisconsin was an absolute theft of democracy in plain sight. They knew by telling people you had to vote in the middle of a pandemic, voter turnout would be way low. And then they cut 95% of the polling places. Increasing public density, which that's the one thing we're not supposed to be doing right now. We are slipping further and further away from economic freedom into serf and nobility. Now, I don't know how 2020's election is going to turn out. My suspicion is if corona is bad, not just the virus, but the economic fallout. If that's as bad as I think it is, Joe Biden has a chance to win. If the media is able to spin it to where Trump has a victory over corona, to which I already see evidence that they're actually planting those seeds right now, Trump could easily destroy Joe Biden. They're both tools of the oligarch. Trump is going to go into Joe Biden's soul, expose all the same stuff that Trump already does. He's going to say, you already know about me. You already know about me. But who's bringing you jobs and stuff? Again, that's if the economic collapse isn't as bad as I think it's going to be. So, 2020 has started off as the craziest firestorm of a year that I've ever lived. That's for sure. However, as energy pieces land on the ground, we'll be able to make predictions of those pieces. But right now, it's a fucking crapshoot. Honestly, this could pop off into World War III. I can easily see that. Economic depression, currency wars, trade wars, which we already have those. And then you got nations blaming each other of who popped this virus out. And then don't forget Trump with his impotency of leadership and inability to listen to daily briefings to which we know he was getting all the way back in November. We found that out today. He was getting briefings about corona back in November. Now, I don't know, I didn't listen to him. I believe you, sir, because you're a retard. You do not listen to these things. We see you in press conferences. But if Biden wins, it doesn't matter. Because the very same people that control the very same levers that allowed Trump to win have no problem with Biden. Please remember, Joe Biden a few days ago said, everyone having health care would be an insult to my dead son. I heard the audio. He did say it. Really? Well, I know you're suffering from dementia, Mr. Vice President, but let me fill you in on a little something. Because you're a compulsive liar, you probably didn't know you lied to the American people with that disgusting statement. If everyone had health care, it'd be an insult to my son. I could expect that from a Ted Cruz. I could expect that from a Marco Rubio. Captain Biden died while he was under TRICARE. That's the military's universal health care program. I've used TRICARE. It's a fantastic program. Captain Biden, who died from a brain tumor, died under total coverage health care given to him by the military. So how in the halibut would everybody in the nation getting health care, Mr. Biden, be an insult to your dead son? I'd love to know that answer. Because it's a disgusting thing. Everyone in this nation should have health care. And we will fight until we get it. I might be a very old man, but we'll fight till we get it. Wrapping this up with what happened to Bernie. Don't you dare ever lose the faith. Now, I'm not a spiritual man by any means, but I will believe in Bernie Sanders because I know his history. I know his life history. He's never given up. And you know that if you're a Bernie Sanders supporter. He has never, ever given up on us. That was For the last 30 years, they're on the floor of the House or the Senate, depending on the year. When any major issue came up, NAFTA, CAFTA, PMTR with China, our trade deals during the 90s that got rid of our future for jobs, yeah, those things. Where was Bernie? He was on the floor of the House saying, excuse me, and I'm paraphrasing here, but if you fucking do that, you're fucking stupid. He didn't say that, but it came out that way. And he was right, because he's a global thinker. Same thing with the other two trade deals. What happened with 1998, deregulation of Glass-Steagall, the big banking regulation that FDR gave us to secure our banks to where they wouldn't crumble again. So Bernie was thinking today, and for the last 3-4 weeks, probably ever since Super Tuesday, especially ever since the pandemic popped off real big, that I understand that I want to keep going. Can't campaign really, can't door knock. They don't cover me anywhere on the news because they control that. But what about the nation? If I get out right now, I'm able to harness my energy inside the Senate, trying to get better legislation for the second and third package they're going to have to pass to bail us out. Not only the banks this time, but us too. To which, of course, here it is, 4 weeks later, we still don't have a check of $1,200. Jamie Dimon's got a button to push for $1 trillion overnight. You got to wait 10 weeks for $1,200. How you like them apples? So Bernie said to himself, at least this is my suspicion, if I get out, well, Biden will be able to try to do his best on his campaign. I will be able to work harder in the Senate because there's a much bigger fish to fry right now than his presidential campaign. I just want you to take away one thing from this video. Bernie didn't give up on you. Don't you dare give up on Bernie. You support him. You see who he supports in the future. He is a bit of a kingmaker. Our grassroots army is formed and it's ready. We have to find a way to harness that energy for the future. I know it looks dark right now. I understand that. I totally understand that. I'm dark myself inside my head for this stuff right now. But tomorrow's another day, and you fight on another day. Do not give up. Think of the people coming behind us. They won't know of a Bernie Sanders, but it'll be us that will tell them about Bernie Sanders. The message I want to leave you with today is not just don't ever give up on Bernie, because Bernie's never given up on you. But it's his ideas, his platform. Bernie gave us the greatest gift anyone could give us. He allowed us to know that there are millions of us. Millions. Bernie now lives inside us. If you want to give Bernie any checkbox in his life, that he knew he was the dandelion, and the wind came along and spread his seeds. Bernie's inside us. He gave us us. Let's never forget that. We'll keep in our groups, we'll keep meeting, and we'll keep finding candidates that only support our values. Medicare for all, $15 minimum wage, but now that's going to be switched to $20 eventually. And Bernie would never want you to give up on us. Just always ask, what would Bernie do? It's a pretty simple thing. What would Bernie do? And you know what he'd do. He'd always do the thing that's right for the working man, for the person that has nothing, for the least among us. You know that, because that's who Bernie is. And that's why he dropped out today. Don't lose touch. All those people out there, I got 5,000 Bernie friends on my Facebook. Continue that. Continue saying hi to them. Continue being involved. That's the only way we're going to beat the oligarchy, is if we continue to be involved with each other.